Just want to say a few words about this Ebola situation and what I think is going to happen. For years, ever since I woke up, I've been trying to figure out how they're going to get rid of us. Thought comet, asteroid, got aboard the Ison bandwagon for a while. And it just seems that a virus, a pandemic, is perfect for what they want to do. It'll get rid of the population pretty much indiscriminately, reducing it to levels that they can deal with and control, and it leaves the infrastructure in place. If you start nuking cities and stuff like that, it's gone. It's useless. So it just seems that a virus would be, thinking like them, a virus would be the way to do it. First and foremost, you get the population reduction. As far as they're concerned, there's way too many people on the planet using up their resources and things like that. So, like I said, it's a lot easier to get rid of the people this way than with bombs and nuclear weapons, natural disasters. I mean, for a natural disaster to get rid of the amount of people that they're talking about, it would have to be more than a worldwide tsunami. Every coastline wiped out really wouldn't even do it as far as they're concerned. It would have to be more. And then you start talking about asteroid impacts and comets, and that could ruin everything for them too. The atmosphere and everything would change, and that's not what they're looking for. They're just looking to get rid of us. So while the outbreak is occurring, they can the presidents around the world will exercise executive orders, basically just taking over. Put extreme police powers in place, quarantine areas, round up people that they suspect to be sick, which is the perfect time for them to round up the awake and the people that are listening to this and posting and resisting and unhappy with their plans. Basically, they just round us up and say, oh, they're sick. We're just going to take them to a quarantine area, a FEMA camp or something like that. And obviously the media will be 24/7 pumping out the propaganda. They can implement the vaccines and the treatments and all this stuff that obviously they don't want to help anybody, so it's not going to be for our benefit. At the same time, the impending collapse that everyone knows is coming to the economy, it's the perfect time for them to do it. Because people are not going to go to work. Especially if you deal with the public, like a restaurant or something like that, or a grocery store where you deal with a bunch of people each day. There's no way you're going to work if you hear that it's in your area, or even in your state. You're not going to take the risk of catching it. But even if you work in an office and you don't deal with people other than, a select number of coworkers, are you really going to want to go? Are you going to send your children to school? No, you're going to stay at home. And once that happens, the just-in-time economy that has been built is going to collapse. It's not going to be able to sustain itself. So this will be a perfect cover for them to mask the collapse that is inevitable. And then in the aftermath, as the world tries to rebuild, they will implement their new system, whatever they've decided on, chips or moneyless currency, moneyless transactions, or however they decided that they want to do it. This is how they can do it easily. And it's perfect. There's no blame for them. Viruses, I'm putting up air quotes, are natural. This virus is natural. So there's no way that they can get a blame for it. It just happened. It just mutated on its own. And most importantly for them, I think, with regard to Agenda 21 and all that, whoever survives this is going to be wholly dependent on the government. With the current economy gone, with 60, 70, whatever the percentage of the population gone, things are going to need to be rebuilt. And they're going to have control of that 100%. So people are going to be dependent on the government. They're going to be dependent on the authorities to come and tell them what to do to reorganize their lives. And if that means consolidating people into these cities, into regions, out of the countryside. You consolidate the residents into cities to try to restart the economy, to try to restart civilization. People aren't going to have a choice. They're going to have to do that in order to regain some semblance of the life that they know, or the life that they knew before, their family and friends all caught ill and died. And it's the perfect excuse, I think, for the elites to pull off what they have been planning for years. So a lot of people are saying that the current crisis is being pumped up, to get people in fear, or to try to get people to sign up for the vaccine or the treatment or whatever it is. You got to realize people aren't going to just go to get the Ebola vaccine unless there's Ebola around them. Somebody in Michigan isn't going to freak out and have to go to a clinic because somebody in West Africa has Ebola. But somebody in Michigan will go do that if there's an outbreak in Wisconsin. So it's going to have to be local. It's going to have to be real to people in order for them to freak out. So, they're testing it out obviously right now where they are in West Africa. They're doing nothing to stop the spread. People can fly in, people can fly out. They're intentionally flying people in and out. So eventually it will become worldwide. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And they're doing, when I say they, the bastards in charge are doing everything that they can to ensure their own survival, at the same time consolidate all the plans that they've been making for years under the guise of this virus. And talk about a terrible way to die. I'm sure there's some kind of ritualistic, satanic, aspect to this, that the most amount of suffering, the most amount of blood, I'm sure it appeases their demon gods or whoever the hell it is that they worship. So I do think that this is the last really clear time where, everything is terrible in the world. It's falling apart as it is. But I think that in 6 months to a year from now, when this thing actually catches and starts spreading all over the place instead of in one or two localized regions, we're going to be sitting back wishing for times like these. So tell everybody how much you love them. Try to enjoy life. Go outside, play with animals, go walk in the forest. Do natural things. That, as depressing as this all is, still have to realize that no matter what, everybody dies anyway. It's just that they're forcing this upon us, and they're going to make us suffer as much as possible. But even if it was 40 years from now and you die peacefully in your bed, you're still going to die. So, you need to enjoy life regardless, especially seeing it on the horizon. It's like, what would you do if you had a month left to live? 6 months left. So really more important than anything else is to get your spiritual side in order. Believe in whatever you believe in. I'm not gonna push Jesus or push anything on anybody. It's just get right with the universe is how I see it. Needs to happen anyway. Just kind of things are moving fast right now. So if you don't have time in your schedule for that, that's the only thing you should have time for, in my opinion. The rest of this stuff is just filler. It's just distractions from living a natural life and being part of the ecosystem. And when I say that, I don't mean just locally. I mean in the galaxy. Everything that we do, everything that we think resonates and moves outward from us. So to sit in fear and to worry about things is the opposite of what we should be doing. We should be going out and living, being happy, smiling, seeing all the good things that are left around us. And then whatever comes, when it comes, we'll be ready for it. If you're at peace internally, it doesn't matter what external pressures are put on you. It's really the only way to win in the end.